When it comes to 2024, it's been a fairly good year for the PlayStation Vita. The homebrew scene has been very active, and every month it seems there's something new on the horizon. So with all that said, I thought now would be a good time to quickly go over a few more Vita ports that you might have missed out on. And so the first game is GunGodz. This was ported by Misery and was a part of the Vita homebrew competition. GunGodz is a first-person shooter that is simple with its graphics but advanced with its music and sound effects. The storyline is strange, taking place on Venus, where you are tasked with shooting your way out of a jail cell. It's one of those games where you are more invested in the gameplay rather than the story, making it great for people who want something to quickly pick up and play. All in all, GunGodz runs great on the PS Vita, and the controls and graphics make it my preferred way to play, so if a quality FPS title is something you might like, consider checking this one out. And so the next title is Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. This game was re-implemented by Renegade, who is fairly well known when it comes to Vita homebrew. Now what makes Link to the Past so special is that it's not running off a traditional emulator. Instead, this game is a full-blown port with plenty of performance improvements and quality of life enhancements. Some notable features are the higher quality map, upgraded audio, and improved resolution. Overall, it's a really fun port that looks amazing on the PS Vita and is miles ahead of emulation, so if you're a fan of the top-down Zelda games, this PS Vita port is one of the best to try. And so up next is Simpsons Hit and Run. This is the newest port on the list and was made possible by Xeno Arrows, who managed to use the leaked source code to get it up and running. The entire game is playable and even contains local multiplayer in the bonus game, which is pretty cool to see. Now of course this is a newer port, so there are a few glitches and missing visual effects, but honestly they really aren't that bad and I didn't have any problems with them. Overall, this is a very important PS Vita release, as fans of the Hit and Run series have been wanting this ported to the Vita for a very long time, so if you're in the market for a fun action driving game, you can't do much better than Simpsons Hit and Run. And so the next game is Dimbleweed Park. This is another port by Renegade that utilizes the Android version of the game to convert it over to the Vita. Thimbleweed Park is a point-and-click adventure game that takes a lot of inspiration from Maniac Mansion and the Secret of Monkey Island series. Gameplay takes the form of a third-person perspective as you use verbal commands to perform different actions and solve puzzles. The game adapts itself perfectly to the PS Vita, and I couldn't find any problems with this port, making it a very smooth experience on the handheld. So if you enjoy the old Monkey Island series or you want to try out a point-and-click game, Thimbleweed Park is always a good choice. And so moving along, the next game is Altos Adventure. This port and the other ones upcoming are also all done by Renegade, who has done a solid job at bringing this title to the Vita. Altos Adventure is a very simple endless runner where the player taps the screen to make the snowboarder jump. While the snowboarder is midair, the player can hold the screen to make them do tricks. The game gives you 180 goals, which are little challenges to complete that then award you coins, which you can use for upgrades. It's a fairly simple game, but it is a lot of fun in small durations, and it works really well on the PS Vita, taking full advantage of the touch functionality. So I'd say if you want something simple but enjoyable, Altos Adventure is a fun little title to try. And so the next port on this list is Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy. This port was done by The Flow and yes, Renegade. It's another Android conversion that is done quite well as it runs smoothly on the PS Vita without any hiccups. Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy is a mainly third-person supernatural adventure game where you make decisions to change the narrative. The game makes use of the PS Vita's touchscreen, having players interact with it to perform actions. Overall, it's a fun story title that not many have played, and it's cool to see something like this brought to the handheld, so if you've never given Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy a playthrough, this is the perfect way to do it. And so the final game on this list is Bully. Again, this port was made by Renegade and is an Android conversion brought over with native functionality. Bully is a popular open world game by Rockstar Games that plays from a third-person perspective. This port runs and looks great, and it even includes the 2-player multiplayer mode for those that want to try it out with a friend. Now the only issue with this game is that it has been known to sometimes crash because it does not free up unused textures, which is a little problematic and is the reason I put it at the end of this list. Still, if you want this game portably on your Vita, it does look nice and perform at a good frame rate, so if you've never tried it before, this is not a bad way to do it. And so that concludes my list. I tried to spread out the game genres to keep things interesting while also putting down titles that others might not know about, but I'm always keeping an eye out for new ports coming to the Vita, so if you have any recommendations, please throw them down in the comments as I will definitely feature them in an upcoming video. In addition, I also wanted to give a big shout out to the people who make these ports possible, as they really help the community push forward and keep this little handheld alive. Anyways, thank you again for watching this video. Make sure to please subscribe if you already haven't, and I will see you very soon. Take care.